So we're continuing with our coverage of the HFC hackerspace and how things are developing. Also, our trip with Mark, who brought over the Ultimaker 2 that was donated by the hacker community. And our setup was a lot of fun. It was pretty straightforward. The instructions that came with the Ultimaker were super easy to follow. And we didn't really have too many problems as we set things up. We took our time and we're super careful with everything that we did. So obviously it's hard for us to get spare parts and things like that, so we didn't want to break anything. We spent a lot of time reading the instructions, and then we'd get excited about stuff and kind of lurch ahead and then go back to the instructions, and so we had a lot of RTFM moments. But man, when that light came on and the box just glowed, it was just the coolest thing. You can see in a lot of these shots, I'm spending an awful lot of time like looking inside this thing just in absolute awe. And we got to the point where at one spot in the setup, we just kind of stopped with this glowing box and just totally geeked out.
After the bridge, we can do some adjustments. We are not going to do that. Okay?
No, not really.
Okay.
I'm good.
You needed to take it off.
We need that noise amplified louder through the whole hackerspace, through the speakers.
Microphone?
Like
Speaker.
record it.
We can use the bits.
Totally just like the same thing. First little bit project. Amplify this sound.
Jesus. Great. That's brilliant.
Wow. I just want my head in there.
I
Put your head close. Get your head in here.
I don't think
It'll
it'll
know what I'm like close. Like, don't you just want that to be the smell and the light and the sound?
It's nice.
It's nice. Okay, I'm ready.
So in step 521, you rotate this left bit. Oh wait. So we're gonna
Rotate the button until the nozzle is a millimeter away from the
Oh, we're gonna
build. A millimeter?
Yeah.
How? What is a millimeter?
Well, I think it's 1/1000.
So when our first print came to life, this was our test print, it was just like magic. I mean, I had never actually seen a 3D printer operate, and when it just started going and we got in there and we watched how this thing worked, it was just like some kind of voodoo. So we spent a lot of time, doing this, going back and forth and looking at it from all different angles, just amazed at how this thing worked. And this was our first print. It was pretty simple. But what was really cool was watching Ugandans with this thing, and this is Henry and Alex, and to them it was even more magical watching how this thing worked. And actually, it's even kind of hard to explain the technology, but they wanted to know everything that they could about how this thing worked. Our second scan was even more fun because this was downloaded from the internet, from ThinkSpace, and so this was a model that we actually found online as opposed to built onto the SD card for the Ultimaker. So it was cool taking something that from the internet, a model that somebody had created, and going through the process of using the software to transfer it over. And even though this is really simple stuff to people that have done this before, it was definitely a first-time experience for me. And like I said, especially for the Ugandans that had never seen this before, and it's a great learning opportunity as well.
Oh, it's all in the middle. And it's doing crosshatch too. It prints this way one time, then the other way the other time.
That's smart.
Yeah.
So that's it. Here was our second project. Both were a success. We had a really great first day, found the Ultimaker, survived the trip, and we're super excited to have it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we look forward to doing all sorts of cool things with it. So stay tuned, and we'll have more updates as we can. Thanks.